SaveWithConrad.com.
My name's Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California. I came to Save with Conrad because I've heard Conrad talk about how he helps people all the time save money and the best route to go for getting some mortgages and finances done. And having heard so many different testimonials in the past, it made the most sense to go this route. We were in the market for a new house and we wanted to know what we could afford. So we spoke with Steve and then Diane to get through the pre-approval process to see what we could afford. And then once we were able to understand that aspect of it, that was when we were able to shop around for a house to get a mortgage through Save with Conrad. Everybody on the team was great. Everybody really explained everything fully to where it was more in like layman's terms to where I could understand it as someone not in the business or having shopped around for houses too many times. So being able to understand every step of the process and talking with everyone on the team about that was really, really helpful. And it made me feel really confident that I was going the right route. I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. I know that sometimes people look at it and they go, oh, they're based in Alabama. What could they help me with? But I'm out here in California and they were able to square everything away and get things done really quickly, as opposed to sometimes even people out here don't move as quickly as the Save with Conrad team. So everything was really well done, really efficient, and I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California, and I was able to get into my dream home with SaveWithConrad.com.
And that's number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad the Mortgage Guy, and you're listening to Grilling JR with the voice of professional wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross. Jim, how are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. How are you?
Man, better than I deserve. Excited to be on with you here today. We are just a few days removed from the Royal Rumble. We've got a new TNT champion. There's news about Tommaso Ciampa and Sting. Oh my, a lot to cover today. And we're going to be celebrating AJ Styles. So if you're hoping to watch JR call some wrestling, you're in for a treat. We've got him in a three-way dance, sharing the ring with Okada in a joint show for Ring of Honor and New Japan. We're going to have a blast today. So crack open a cold one, fire up the barbecue grill. Let's have some fun and talk about it. Jim, this past weekend was one of the more celebrated pay-per-views of the year on the WWE side of things, Royal Rumble. I know that a lot of people were still trying to figure out exactly how to get this show. I saw Bill Simmons posting on social media, hey, wait a minute, I don't have this, even if I have ESPN, and maybe there was some confusion. What'd you think? Were you able to find the Royal Rumble? Did you get a chance to see it?
It was challenging. I did see parts of it but I wasted a lot of time trying to get online technically. And to watch it, but to say I didn't have any issues would be a lie. So, you know, it is what it is, man. It's just this technical world. It made it challenging to watch wrestling, and I don't like that. It should be easy, but it's not. So what the hell we do about it?
Well, I'm glad you figured it out. What did you think of the show? I know that there were some fans online, myself included at first, who thought, hey, is that building empty? You know, we complimented how quickly they put together the stadium. I think it was less than a month turnaround. And the idea that they had so many lights, seemingly one on every seat, it did make for an interesting and cool visual at times, but other times it almost felt like the lights were overpowering. And I think there was a lot of people who wondered, are people even there? Were the lights a net positive or net negative to you?
I'd have to say, without sounding negative, Nelly, it did. I don't know how much it helped, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm looking at it erroneously, but I thought it could have been shot a little bit different. How many people were there?
Well, it was sold out. You know, there was a lot of discussion when they first put tickets on sale. I mean, this can't be real. But there was a report that there were something like 800 and something thousand people in the queue to buy tickets. I don't know exactly how many people were there, tens of thousands, but it was sold out. And I've heard from people, I guess I'm 1 degree separated from people who were actually in attendance, and they were saying this was actually very reasonably priced. It was affordable based on more recent WWE experiences. I heard a friend of a friend had a chance to do meet and greets for like $7. So I guess that's the price you don't have to pay if the Saudi government is underwriting the doggone thing. But it looks like they had a full crowd, and the fans there live, I hope they enjoyed themselves. It didn't feel as loud as maybe I would have expected, but maybe some of that is because it was open air and it wasn't.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
And that affected it negatively, in my opinion. I yeah, someday I probably won't, but I'd like to sit there and experience it live and to see how much difference it makes as opposed to watching it on my TV or my phone or what have you. So, but they were good. It had its moments. It had its moments. I keep thinking about the logistics of Royal Rumble in Saudi that's a big deal, man. I mean, it's overwhelming at times. Have you heard from any talents about how their trip went?
No, I haven't communicated about travel, but I do think that once upon a time you and the King made a trip over to Saudi, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We went. Maybe we went on the first one. I'm not sure if it was the first one. I think it was. And that was a waste of time. We didn't do anything. We didn't call a match. Why the fuck were we there? So, but it's a long way to go to observe, I can tell you. So, but anyway, I thought there were some moments in the Royal Rumble, as there always are. So,
I think you may have went to the greatest Royal Rumble, which would have been April 27th, 2018. So obviously in advance of you making the switch to AEW, but April of 2018, I suppose, was the first one. I guess there were 60,000 people in attendance there, but overall you were kind of nonplussed by it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't want to come on here and just cut it up and bitch about it and all that stuff, Connie. I was overwhelmingly impressed with the stadium and how quick they built it and got it ready, the site ready. That was an amazing accomplishment, in my opinion, because I didn't realize that they didn't have a stadium already built. They got one now.
Well, when you take a look at the greatest Royal Rumble way back in 2018, they had 50 guys in the ring, and the very last entrant, number 50, was Chris Jericho. And if you went on any of the betting sites last week in advance of the Royal Rumble this year in Saudi, all of the quote unquote smart money, the favorite was Jericho at number 30. It was not. Jericho is not in WWE. Were you surprised to see that he didn't make a Royal Rumble debut?
Yes, I was. And right here on this very air, I predicted he would be there. I haven't talked to Chris in a good while, but I thought it was a lead pipe cinch that he would be a participant in the match, but I was wrong. I guessed wrong.
Be interesting to see when we do see Jericho pop up somewhere. If I was a betting man, I would say that the answer will reveal itself by WrestleMania, but we'll stay tuned. We'll see.
Maybe that's what he's saving it for. Maybe that's what he's saving his return for, is WrestleMania. I don't know. But whatever it is, they've been very tight-lipped on it, and I don't have a problem with that either. I like to be guessing, and I guessed wrong. I saw a clip on that online that, JR, what do you think? Well, I thought he was going to be there, and I said I didn't have any inside information, and I wasn't lying. I was telling the truth. I don't know. It just seemed like it made sense. I think there are so many alleged surprises that they may have thought that adding Jericho to that mix was would be a little daunting. So I don't know, but he will be there. I'm assuming assumptions here. I'm assuming he'll be in the lineup sooner than later because at his age and at his experience level, he's what are his other options if he wants to stay on TV and in the business and make a good buck? Because I don't know factually, but Conrad, I would think, see if you agree or not, that he's being paid very well. So if he doesn't, I don't think him going to WWE is a matter over paychecks. I think he wants to end his career in wrestling in WWE. That's not where it started. You know, I hired Chris. Jericho, Jerry Briscoe, and I had a couple of meetings, as I recall, and to get him pointed in the right direction. I think we had a lunch at a place called the Bombay Bicycle Club. Does that ring a bell to you?
I don't recall being there, but I hope you had fun.
It was in the greater Tampa area. So it's been a long time, honestly. But so I think that's his eventual destination. I said this before on air. That's a big loss for AEW. Jericho's a major player that is part of the foundation and fabric of AEW. I personally, as a fan, hate to see him leave, but you know, we can check out the tube and watch him on television, I guess. Everybody's, like I said, I'm impressed with the tight-lipped nature of this proposition. I'm impressed with it, that the word has not got out, and so we'll see. Time will tell. Time's running out for some things.
We did see the return of Chad Gable in his original El Grande Americano persona, back to back with the other El Grande Americano. Gable looks to be bigger and in better shape than ever before. Very vascular, maybe Mr. Barnett would say.
Oh my God, Connie, those fucking cheeks.
We got to see Mr. Iguana and La Parka from AAA, and
I don't get that one. I try to be open-minded, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to be open-minded, but those two guys, I can't determine their exact value. They don't do it for me, but I see they have talent and unique talents, and maybe that's why they're there. Unique talent.
Well, somebody I know you think a lot of is Royce Keys. We're learning that is the new name for the former Powerhouse Hobbs. I'd never seen this before. They actually flashed Powerhouse Hobbs on the screen before they introduced the new name, and even the lower third said formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs. And recently, Tony Khan was actually interviewed and asked about Powerhouse Hobbs showing up on WWE, and he says, well, I think Hobbs had a great run here in AEW. He started wrestling here in Jacksonville, had some great matches, and became a champion in AEW. He's a former TNT champion, former World Trios champion. I'll always wish him all the best. Really classy, as always, by Tony Khan. But what'd you think of Royce Keys' presentation in the Royal Rumble, Jim?
Well, it was quick. Look, it's good for his career. You got to move on and stay fresh and put a new coat of paint on it every now and then. And I think that's basically what he did. He looked great. His ring attire was spiffy. That's a dated reference. But he's a big, strong son of a gun. A lot of character. He's got integrity. I think the world of him. I wish him nothing but the very best. But I gravitated to him early on in his AEW run, and I'm glad that we got a chance to work with him. He's a hell of a good guy. Hell of a good guy. He'll be a credit to the locker room without question.
Royce Keys, of course, is great friend of the show, and I'm really excited for him. I'm excited to see that he eliminated Damian Priest too, a former champion. Maybe that's going to lead to something WrestleMania weekend. We'll stay tuned for that. All right, guys, by now you know what a big fan JR is of Blue Chew, and he's pumped about Blue Chew Gold. If you haven't already heard, Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. Now, this ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. No, sir. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and the connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue, and it works in as little as just 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. We're talking elevation without hesitation, peak passion and peak performance all in a single tablet. Forget Netflix and chill. This is Netflix and fill. Make your life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with the promo code JR. That's promo code JR. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast. But I did want to ask you about Roman Reigns. You know, back in 2015, when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, they tried to give him the rub from The Rock, and The Rock was dispersed down there and raised his hand and sort of said, "Hey, this is the guy." And boy, the boos just rained down. They did not want Roman Reigns to win that night. Hell, they were booing Rey Mysterio. They wanted Daniel Bryan. Things have changed. 11 years later, fans are all about some Roman Reigns. He becomes only a handful of these 2-time winners: Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Batista, Triple H, Randy Orton, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, and Charlotte Flair now have all won it 2 times. Only one 3-time winner ever. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin. What'd you think of Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble? Was that predictable to you, or do you like it?
I liked it. I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but I had a sneaking feeling because his character's TV persona seemed to be a little bit dormant. Yeah, we weren't seeing him as much. So with that said, I thought that he was probably due. He's still a big-time player and making a bunch of money, which is good for him. I like that kid. I think he's sharp. Of course, any of the wrestlers' sons that go play college football move up a notch or 2 in my book, and he certainly has done that. It's hard to believe that, there was a time when the Samoan athletes were slotted. There weren't that many of them. It seemed like there were, but really, you look at it compared to other athletes of other nationalities or ethnicities, I think he's always been special. He's articulate. He's smart. He keeps himself in great shape. So I think it was a good move. I think him being. What'd you think? Do you think it was a good call?
Yeah, listen, I don't think anybody can complain about Roman Reigns winning. Certainly a top guy. I was hopeful that we were going to get something different than. I was hopeful that maybe the stories for Sami Zayn or AJ Styles allowed them that opportunity, but that wasn't in the cards. We'll talk about that in a moment. I do want to mention, though, on Monday Night Raw, we saw some back and forth, a toe-to-toe promo battle, if you will, with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I felt like Roman Reigns maybe got the better of Punk on Monday, which is something a lot of people maybe wouldn't have guessed. So it does feel like they're on a collision course for WrestleMania. Does that feel like night 1 or night 2's main event to you, Jim?
That'd be night 2 for me. Now, I'm a big fan of both guys.
Sure.
So I say that maybe in wishful thinking that I hope that they wrestle on the second night of WrestleMania, but wouldn't hurt my feelings or kill me if they didn't. But that's you're looking on the screen now. What's ahead, what the future holds, as Roman and Punk stare each other down. So I like both those guys. Paul Levesque is doing a good job of putting responsibility on athletes that he can rely on.
Mm.
How many times have we talked about reliability? A lot, and it's huge. And if you put yourself into Levesque's shoes, you're going to go with the guys that you believe will not let you down, will come to work, or are athletic. All those, a lot of the unmentionables or unmeasurables.
The intangibles. There you go.
The intangibles, yeah. They both got that. I'd had no problem at all building a company around either one of those guys, because I know I could depend on them, and I know they are game day players. So they're going to want to have the best match on the card. If nothing else, this is going to sound catty, but out of ego. They're just, both those guys are studs, and they're winners, and they took different but long routes to get to where they are. So I'm pulling for both those guys, and I think if they have a main event on Saturday or Sunday, I don't think it matters. Honestly, I really don't. I don't think it matters a bit.
I'm glad you said that, because there has been some discourse online about what's the real main event. Like, does the main event of night one count? CM Punk was recently taken to task about that, because he, of course, was last year's night one WrestleMania main event. And we knew that had been a stated goal of his going back more than 10 years. He wanted a main event WrestleMania. It finally happened last year. And I think a lot of fans were happy for him, but some folks moved the goalpost and they say, well, it's not technically the main event if it was night one. And Punk correctly pointed out, hey guys, Steve Austin had a night one WrestleMania main event. So did The Rock. How am I to say that they weren't in the main event? But at least to you agree with that. You like the idea that you have two main events and consider them similar stature.
Yeah, it goes all the way back for me, Conrad, that I don't think they need two world champions. To me, it's kind of ridiculous, but I understand why. If they were running premium live events 3 or 4 nights a week, I get it, but they're not. So I think you can have too many titles. In any event, it was. I had no issues with it. The Sunday night or Saturday night or whatever, that's too much thinking for my ass.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the rest of the card. You know, one of the things that I was looking forward to was the Drew McIntyre Sami Zayn match. I thought for sure they may be angling to do some sort of feel good story with Sami Zayn. Wasn't in the cards. Drew gets the win, and kind of a similar situation with the other men's championship match. Well, I guess it wasn't really a championship match. It was a career on the line. AJ Styles seemingly has wrestled his last WWE match. This was almost thrown together, it felt like, a few weeks prior, where AJ said he wanted a shot at Gunther, and Gunther said, only if you put your career on the line. We saw the reports that I guess WWE has trademarked career killer. And just like Goldberg and John Cena before him, Gunther is the guy to give AJ Styles his last match, at least in WWE. I think a lot of people expected that he would retire, and maybe he did. But what he didn't do was take his gloves off and leave them in the ring. He teased it, and then he put them back on. And there was a report that earlier in the week, he trademarked his P1 logo. So now there's speculation. Is AJ leaving WWE on his terms, or is he being dictated to? And will he do a subsequent farewell tour? Maybe through AAA or CMLL or TNA or New Japan or even AEW. What do you think, Jim?
It won't be AEW, I don't think, and maintain his residency with WWE. I think WWE will do a great job of marketing his exit, and maybe there's a change in plans. You know, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I get a little confused. And normally, when you confuse some of your core fans, that's not a good thing.
Right.
It's not a good thing. So I still am of the impression. I mean, hell, AJ's almost 50, isn't he?
48, yes, sir.
That's almost 50. where I come from here in Oklahoma. So I don't know, Conrad. There's a lot of loopholes in this thing, a lot of hop, skipping, and jump stuff. I don't know what's going on, and I say that not out of animosity or anger or frustration. I don't need to know. I just need to be motivated to turn the TV on and watch how this whole thing progresses. It does seem like we're coming into an era where it's going to be challenging to get over for a talent in WWE, because there are so many of them that are really good, really good. They've built a hell of a roster, and so I don't know. But the AJ Styles thing is, it seemed like they let him kind of cool down a little bit before all this stuff in Saudi. So I don't know. A lot of cards to be played, and we'll see. I don't know. And like I said, I don't know that's a bad thing. I don't think that it is.
I have no inside information whatsoever, but
Yep.
the rumor and innuendo is that AJ wanted to stay the rest of the year in WWE. Maybe WWE didn't see that in the cards. I don't know if that's real or not. Maybe this is wishful thinking by some promoters who were trying to book him. But I do know that there is a huge interest in independent promoters in some sort of an AJ Styles farewell tour. I hope for one he gets to do it. It doesn't feel like he got the same kind of send off that a John Cena would. Not comparing him to John Cena. I know they're a lot in life and their WWE existence is vastly different. One guy was there for 20 years, another for 10. I get that, but it does feel like there should have been some, like, where were the legends coming out to, wish him well and send him off? I mean, we all saw that for Goldberg and we saw that for John Cena. We didn't see that for AJ. And part of that may have been because it was in Saudi Arabia.
It absolutely was, Conrad, in my opinion. It absolutely was. The location, the geography had something to do with that. And I was a little underwhelmed after the match with Gunther and AJ. I was a little underwhelmed. I thought it should have been a bigger dog and pony show. That's just me, but that's how I felt when the match was over.
I don't think you're wrong. I think there's a lot of people who enjoyed the match. Maybe some people were not excited about the finish. I know Eric Bischoff, who I watched it with, was very critical of the finish. He did not think a sleeper was the way to do it. I would have liked to have not seen AJ's last match in Saudi. As a reminder, later this month, WWE is going to run a Monday Night Raw in Atlanta, Georgia. It feels like that would have been a place to give AJ a proper send off. Maybe they still will. We don't know. I don't know if his contract has already ended. It's up at the end of the month or later this year or whatever. But I will say that there's a lot of interest in AJ. Even Tony Khan was asked about AJ this week. And I'm a huge fan of AJ Styles. I think he's incredible. He's had great matches all over the world. He did some incredible things in Ring of Honor that are a part of our library and also with our partners at New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was involved in some of the all-time greatest matches. His match with Minoru Suzuki is one of my all-time favorites. And he's had great matches with multiple companies all over the world. He's never been in AEW before, but certainly with a lot of the promotions we work with, and of course in ROH, he has a great history. He's one of my all-time favorites, just personally, in my opinion. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. So I have only the highest praise for AJ Styles. And I got to say, as a wrestling fan, Jim, I can get excited about the potential matchups that AJ could have in AEW.
All right.
Guys like Okada again. I'd love to see him in Takeshita, him and Ospreay, him and Omega. I mean, there's so many talent there. Even, Hangman Adam Page and Swerve and MJF. I don't know if that's in the cards, but I could totally see AJ working in AEW, couldn't you?
Oh, hell yeah. That'd be great. That'd certainly give me ample encouragement to return to the road, to know that I got to call an AJ Styles TV main event when I got back. So I'm with you. There's a lot of. It's funny that there's some good stuff being done storyline wise in both brands, and I think maybe it's part of it is because people aren't 100% sure what's going down. There's a lot of blanks. There's a lot of voids, in my opinion. But they can turn all those around. They meaning AEW, pronoun boy, and see where it takes us. But I do think he's done as a full timer. If I were him, I'd pick my spots and work only when I wanted to and where I wanted to, with who I wanted to. He's earned that. He's earned that. So and the thing about it, as a promoter, he's going to make any card that you put him on better. So if your big shows to get that one big step up and upgrade, AJ's your guy. But I don't see how the hell WWE could risk getting hurt in somebody else's ring.
Well, I don't think that'll happen. I think I think if we see him outside of WWE, I think his contract's complete. I don't imagine that TKO is feeling like they want to just donate to other people's promotions. So I'm of the opinion that if and when we see AJ outside of the WWE, he's done with that. But just like once before, where Bryan Danielson, I feel like he had a bit of a bucket list. I'd love to see AJ in Arena Mexico do a big show there. I'd love to see him do another Wrestle Kingdom, as a farewell there. I think it would be really cool if we got to see him, say, at Wembley Stadium for AEW. Like, do one big farewell tour like that. That would be really, really cool.
I agree. He had a lackluster, in my opinion, exit.
Agree.
After the match was over, they had all that footage that was was not attended well.
Well, we'll stay tuned and see what's going on and what's going to happen next for AJ. He seemingly did it all in WWE. Shane McMahon even took to Twitter to said, "Thank you for your friendship and giving it your absolute best to entertain us. Every single time you step through the ropes, you set the bar for current and future talent. Let's see if they can reach it." He made that post over on Instagram, and in my conversation earlier this week with Jeff Jarrett, he said he believes that he would count AJ as maybe the innovator of the modern style. I thought that was high praise from Double J. What do you think about that?
Oh, I don't know about that. He certainly enhanced the style because he was so good at it. And he could beat you through the air. He could beat you on the ground. He could beat you doing spots. He's a great innovator. And the fact that so many people were willing to do his matches with him, his style, would tell you that he's very well respected within the inner workings of pro wrestling. He's beloved. I thought that him retiring was too close to John Cena's retirement business, and that could have been done a lot better, quite honestly.
Well, I don't know what else there was for AJ to do. He's a 2-time WWE champion, an Intercontinental champion, a 3-time US champion, a 2-time tag team champion. He main evented WrestleMania Night 1 against The Undertaker in his final match. And I think the entire world is wondering what's next for AJ. We'll talk about it here in the coming weeks. But what we do know is that Tommaso Ciampa is in AEW. He makes the big debut. They go ahead and immediately tease and promote that he's going to get a title shot this past Saturday at Collision. And somehow, some way, he beats Mark Briscoe. He's the new AEW TNT champion. What do you think of Ciampa's in-ring debut for AEW?
I liked it. I liked it. I think he's a good addition to the roster. He has high quality matches more often than not. As a matter of fact, I can't remember, and we all have those days. I don't remember him having a stinker.
Yeah, me neither.
He's a hard worker. He shares. He's unselfish. So he's got a unique look. So bald guys with beards, that seems to be the trend of pro wrestling right now. Shaved heads and and beards.
Tony Khan recently had a quote about Tommaso Ciampa too, celebrating his success in Ring of Honor. He says, "I thought it was a very exciting thing when Ciampa became available. I thought that was such an exciting development. He's such a great wrestler. He has a great history in Ring of Honor, and he's never been in AEW. Talk about somebody who is a fantastic wrestler. AEW is where the best wrestle. So when the top free agents become available, I've always wanted to sign them. Whether it's somebody who's never wrestled in AEW before, like Tommaso Ciampa, the new TNT champion after his fantastic match he had with Mark Briscoe for the TNT title. I just thought that was just outstanding. And I feel like a lot of people probably agree. And Tommaso Ciampa is one of the best that NXT celebrated during their, I guess we call it their heyday, the black and gold. A lot of people, myself included, probably assume though, well, Ciampa's a Triple H guy. And now we see a Triple H guy heading to Jacksonville. What do you make of that?
I like it. It's good for the talent. I think he can. I said he raises the quality of any main event level match that he's in, and he can enhance whomever he's working with to the maximum. So I didn't think about the Triple H connection, quite honestly, but I see your point. But he's got a few good years left in him, I think, and you know, we'll see how it works out. I think he's going to be a great addition to AEW's roster, and it's going to give some guys a chance for some new matches. I think a program with he and MJF interests me, for example. Not that's the only one, but if I was booking, I'd somehow or another I would work my way to that match or systematically. I think he's got a great future with AEW because again there's so many new guys that he can work with, and I think that's very important.
I do want to spend a little bit of time and talk about something else that happened on Collision. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the whole show, but one of the things that I really liked in the early days of AEW is Tony Khan would go on Busted Open and just have casual conversations about his fandom. And when talking about Nitro, he said that one of his favorite things about Nitro as a fan back in the day was the seeming randomness, if you will, of some of the matchups. And he cited, I believe from memory, Perry Saturn versus Rick Martel. How else would we have ever seen that without Nitro? And another he threw out, which I thought was fun, is Randy Savage and Bobby Eaton. So I feel like we got a little bit of a treat with that on Collision this past Saturday because we had Okada, the Continental Champion, fresh off of a sold out Tokyo Dome where he beat Tanahashi in his very last match. And his next match was against a guy we've seen a lot in a tag team from Ring of Honor, Alabama's own Adam Priest. And the idea that you see these guys who seemingly, not like Okada's working a lot of Southern Indies or Ring of Honor shows. And it's not like, Adam has worked any New Japan shows. He has been to Japan, but I thought that was really fascinating. And I thought it was a great showing from Adam Priest. Did you have a chance to catch that? And what did you think?
I did not. But now that you teased me with it, I'm certainly going to go out of my way to find it and watch it.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'm a fan of Okada. I'm a huge fan of Adam Priest. I think he's going to remind you of somebody, and I'll let you tell me who once you take a look. But hey, if you're craving nonstop hard-hitting action, don't miss Relentless, Tom Bocci's new adrenaline-fueled revenge thriller that literally plays out like a Texas death match. From the brutal fight sequences with barbed wire to the insane stunts performed by the actors themselves, you won't believe your eyes. Relentless truly lives up to its name. It's now available to rent or buy on digital platforms like Apple TV and Amazon, so you can watch anytime, anywhere.
These stunt sequences are like nothing I've ever got to do before.
There's a scene that takes place at a car wash, fighting with water around you, soap, all these like spin, what are those called? I don't even know. Those.
There's just a massive amount of fighting. This is the most in-your-face, visceral film I've ever been a part of.
That's Relentless, Tom Bocci's new adrenaline-fueled revenge thriller. You're going to love it. Check it out. Apple TV and Amazon, Relentless. Everybody is trying to do their best AJ Styles these days. And I thought since we're celebrating such a glorious career he's had, a 10-year run with WWE, knock on wood, we hope he's not done in the squared circle. I thought, why not go back a little further? Why not go to May 17th, 2014? At the Hammerstein Ballroom, there was a mega show between Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was a joint show that was absolutely loaded. In the dark match that day, Caprice Coleman, who now does commentary for Ring of Honor, beat a young Adam Page. That's right. Hangman Adam Page was on this undercard in a dark match. Then there was a 6-man with ACH, Matt Taven, and Tommaso Ciampa. How about that? Then we saw Roderick Strong in the next match, Jay Lethal to follow for the television title. The Briscoes working with Gallows and Anderson for the New Japan tag straps. Nakamura wrestled Kevin Steen. You know him these days as Kevin Owens.
Love that.
Tanahashi was in there with Mike Bennett. Then we saw Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly take on the Young Bucks. The Ring of Honor World title was on the line for Adam Cole versus Jushin Liger. I hope you're seeing what a loaded show this is. By the way, this entire show is available now on Honor Club. If you haven't already, I want to encourage you to go subscribe right now. It's just watchroh.com. It comes out every Thursday. You'll see new episodes of Ring of Honor, but you also get all of these fabulous archives, including the premium live events. That's watchroh.com. It's only $9.99 a month. But the main event is what we're about to watch. And this wasn't for the Ring of Honor world title. This was for the New Japan world title. AJ Styles comes in holding the big belt, and he's got two big challengers, Okada, who we've spent some time talking about today, and Michael Elgin. And they have one heck of a match. We've never watched it before here on Grilling JR. You've never heard JR call this match. You're about to hear that for the very first time. Dave Meltzer gave it 4 stars over on Cage Match. They rated it a 7.67. Fans really dig this one, and it's in a familiar venue, the Hammerstein Ballroom, from May 17th, 2014. This is going to be fun. You've never seen this before, right, Jim?
You're right, Conrad. I have not.
Well, I can't wait, man. Let's take a look. Mike Elgin, Kazuchika Okada, and AJ Styles for the New Japan World title. Let's take a look.
All right, here we go. Hammerstein Ballroom. Is it Hammerstein or Hammerstein? I think it's Hammerstein. Great crowd. There's AJ. Okada, one of the great stars in all of pro wrestling. And Michael Elgin. I thought Elgin underachieved to certain. I don't know if he ever lived up to his potential. I liked his work. He's not a bad guy either. So here we go. AJ looking down the barrel of a double barrel shotgun of these guys. Okada getting a fresh first start. AJ has so many old school properties of his in-ring technique. And Okada we've said it many times, it's arguable that he's not the best pro wrestler in the world right now. And that goes all the way back to this match, which, Elgin fundamentally sound. I just love Okada's game. I can watch Okada in any incarnation against AJ Styles, anytime, anywhere. These guys slow it down a little bit, which I think is smart, because their offense will be fast-paced, as we will see. And again, I haven't seen this match yet, so that's where we are. Okada having some fun with Michael Elgin. That sounded kind of weird. Pace quickens a little bit here. Elgin in this match has got to get himself in a position to utilize his strength, his power, his bulk. Here comes AJ rolling back in. Elgin's a strong son of a gun. Shot block from a precarious position. AJ not waiting around to try to explore an opportunity to get the momentum. Momentum's got such a big part of the storytelling in any match. You got to connect the dots. AJ is so athletic. He makes that last move so tied to him. He's really good at incorporating his style in any match. AJ from state of Georgia. He told me one time he used to come to the Georgia Mountain Center in Gainesville as a kid and watch the wrestling. That always encouraged me because it tells you that all the way back to his formative years, AJ Styles was a student of the game. And I still believe in that. Fans enjoying this pro wrestling exhibition. AJ now singled up with Michael Elgin. So AJ gets Elgin in a predicament and then gives him a way to counter that predicament. New generation of fans, wrestlers, I should say, and what they are willing to do as it relates to the ring apron. That's a hell of a big deal. Okada gets on base with that one. Again, the ring apron has its own role. No padding. Dangerous. As you just saw how effective it can be. And it is this very day. I just love the smoothness of Okada. He reminds me a little bit of a young Jack Briscoe. He's smooth. I like the pace these guys are going at. It's impressive. Everybody's not trying to get their quote-unquote shit in. They're having a match. They're telling a story. And right now we're showing you here on Grill and JR, AJ Styles and Okada. Can it get any better? Tiger Hattori, the referee, which is not unusual for an Okada match. Tiger making his home in New York City. I think he still lives there. Oh. AJ takes a great bump, puts himself into a position to make his adversary at the moment look even stronger. AJ is so athletic. So athletic. He didn't miss so much, I can tell you that. And over the years, he just kept getting better and better. This is scary. Elgin getting perfectly acknowledged for his athleticism, for being the biggest man in the match, arguably the strongest man in the match. Wow, look at this strength. That takes a lot of power, a lot of balance. Fall away slam on two men. And the fans here at the Hammerstein Ballroom are falling into the moment. You just won't find too many three vans that will be operated on and so successfully. Very important match internationally. You get that with Okada. The power of Elgin, Mike Elgin. I'll get it right someday. Look at that suplex. Really nicely done. Very nicely done. I hope you like the story these boys are telling. All three guys are being given their moments. Unselfishly, these guys are putting on a hell of a contest. This could be it. Like Conrad said, I've not seen these matches ever. So it's all new to me. And I like that. It's fresh. That Ring of Honor deal Conrad was talking about, see a graphic there on the screen. I highly encourage you to invest in that if you are of a mindset of wanting to watch some real good pro wrestling. Well, that'll dry the air out of you. Both knees right into the chest. Elgin is seemingly telling us he's going to deliver a clothesline. But not this time. Covered by Okada. I saw Okada for the first time in a match I called in the Tokyo Dome. That's the night I also laid my eyes on Nakamura for the first time. Pile driver. There's for the bulk and the mass, the strength. Comes in handy now. Oh, that's a missed opportunity right there. AJ back on his feet first. Goes right back on the attack offensively. He's got a big Mike in a precarious position. Tiger Hattori, the referee, at one time worked for Eddie Graham in the Florida Championship Wrestling office way back in the day. So he's had quite the education. One of these guys got to hit the move of the night to win this thing. It's got to be impactful and sudden. Oh, Elgin looks like he's sucking on pond water. He's slowed down. You know, Okada just doesn't miss very often. Fans here love it in New York City. Backslide. Clubbing clotheslines from the right-handed Michael Elgin. The old clothesline always comes in handy. It was delivered correctly and at the right spot in the match. Back in the day, or as Tony Gurria would say, in my day, it has replaced a punch. So in other words, you're probably going to see, in going forward in today's world, more clotheslines than right hands. Okada showing the effects of that suplex. And here comes AJ. These guys are operating at a very high level. This is awesome. So say the fans here at this Ring of Honor sanctioned event. Boy, these two guys are just marvelous. That posturing before AJ delivered may have cost him a win here. I find it amazing watching these matches how much some of these guys have filled out. AJ is much more muscular now. Okada, same. I don't know what Elgin's doing or he's talking to. Sometimes I think guys waste time in these moments. Power bomb into the corner. Okada now trying to get back on the offensive. The ebb and flow of this match has been exemplary, in my opinion. Everybody's getting some. Rainmaker and a flying forearm. Out goes Elgin. And Styles clash. And that'll do it. Put the hay in the barn and call it a day. Very impressive victory for AJ Styles. Styles clash When is it not working? AJ has perfected that maneuver. Fans here have seen a great main event.
No doubt about it. AJ Styles retains. He is the New Japan World Champion. What an incredible performance. We hope that we get to see more like that. I'd love to see AJ back in New Japan or Ring of Honor or AEW. We'll stay tuned and see what happens in the coming weeks and months here. I do want to ask you, as we're taking a look at some really fun old school footage, I can't help but think about some other news that came out, because earlier today while we were recording, you said something along the lines talking about Roman Reigns. You know, these sons of wrestlers who played football, that's a big deal to you. That means a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can
Well,
make a good argument for that.
well, there's no doubt. I wanted to mention I saw something kind of interesting. There's a report out from Tony Khan. I guess he did an interview recently, and he was talking about Sting, Steve Borden's son. And he said something along the lines of, Steven has still never been on AEW TV, but he's somebody we're developing. I have so much respect for Steven. He's a rising young wrestler. He played college football at Kentucky. I followed his football career, and now I'm proud to say we're working on developing him as a pro wrestler for AEW. Developing him for the future is a huge priority to me and everyone in AEW. And in this same interview, he pointed out that he, Tony Khan, has licensed Sting's old NWA theme song. So that classic guitar riff that we all loved when he beat Ric Flair for the world title in 1990, there's a chance that his son is going to use that in the future, wrestling for either Ring of Honor or AEW. Man, I can get excited about that. Sting 2.0, sign me up. What do you think?
Oh, I like it. I like it. It was handled, and they give the kid a chance to develop and continue to learn the psychology of the wrestling business. He's a good sized lad. I think he played tight end at Kentucky. So he's played in a very athletic position. And the thing about here, so JR, why are you so crazy about these football players? Because they've gone through a system and a program that can't be ignored. They've gone through a Division I strength and conditioning program for 3 or 4 years at least. So I think he'll have a chance, be given the opportunity to score big, and it all depends on who's teaching him and are they good coaches, so forth and so on. So I think it's a smart move by Tony Khan. It's worth a shot without question. He's a good looking kid.
Can't wait to see what's next for Steve and his future wrestling career. What I know is next for us this weekend, though, is it's the Super Bowl. I can't believe it's finally here.
Me neither.
Patriots and the Seahawks. Of course, a lot of us are going to be firing up our grills and getting all the JR's barbecue products out there. If you haven't already, go check out jrsbbq.com. That all-purpose seasoning is my go-to. But there's something for everybody at jrsbbq.com. Yes, you've got sauces and rubs, but you've also got collectibles, books, and trading cards and action figures. Oh my. Go check it out at jrsbbq.com. Jim, this weekend, who you got at the Super Bowl? Is it going to be the Seahawks or the Patriots?
Well, I'm not going to gamble on the game, but I'll give you a prediction. And that is, I got Seattle winning the Super Bowl. So that's just a guess. I like their defense. I think their head coach is hot, almost festive. So I'm leaning toward the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl on Sunday.
They are the favorites. I think.
Who do you have?
I'm pulling for the Patriots, but I think it's going to be the Seahawks. You know, they started as a 3.5 point favorite. All the major sports books have moved them to a 4.5 point favorite. The Patriots are plus 195 right now. So you'd bet $100 to win 195. Meanwhile, if you're a Seahawks fan, you'd be at minus 240. You would bet $240 in order to win $100. So the smart money, as they say, seems to think that the Seahawks are going to get it done this weekend. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week here on the program. We'll also be talking about AEW getting ready to head to Australia next weekend. Is going to be Grand Slam from Australia. Harley Cameron is coming home, and by God, her and her tag team partner, they are the Babes of Wrath. They are the women's tag team champion. Make plans to go see these folks in person, because you have a rare premium event, if you will, on free TV for Grand Slam next Saturday on Valentine's Day. But on the 15th, an even more rare house show in Brisbane. Tickets on sale now at AEWTIX.com. And then we'll be back stateside in California. And before you know it, March 15th will be here. Revolution is your next AEW pay-per-view. JR is going to be there. You should make plans to be as well. Tickets for all of these great events on sale now at AEWTIX.com. Jim, I had a blast talking about AJ Styles, watching some old AJ, thinking about the future of Sting, thinking about the future of AJ and Australia, man. Next week, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be big. It's a great territory to develop. Great for AEW, no doubt about that. I have next week, get Bull Ringers to pull up my, I had an appearance coming up with a bunch of AEW guys in England, in Manchester. So let's see if we can't find that information, Bull, and see if we can't get some folks to come see us.
Looking forward to it. Hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend. JR's calling matches, some you've never seen, including Okada and AJ in a 3-way for the New Japan title. It's so much fun. It ought to be illegal. Hit subscribe right now at grillingjr.com, and we'll see you next week right here on Grilling JR with the voice of professional wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross.
Thanks for spending a little time with us, everybody. We appreciate you. We value your support, and we'll try to get better next week.